21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
One of the things that I believe is really important today in the world is trust. And AI is powerful, but not trustworthy for most people because it makes things up, it gives wrong answers, and it is something that they just don't feel they can trust with reliability. Despite its power, AI wouldn't pass a first-round job interview with most firms because it's not trustworthy. My name is Mike Ryan, and I grew up in Staten Island, New York. I went on to college at Yale and played basketball there and graduated and went to Goldman Sachs, where I spent a couple of decades. I learned a lot at Goldman Sachs. I was an analyst. I am an analyst by nature, and I ultimately ran the global equity business there. After Wall Street, I managed money for Harvard's endowment, about $18 billion, $6 billion of that directly investing in companies, $12 billion allocating to other fund managers, being an LP in their funds. So I had the opportunity to see up close and directly what great investors do, what great investment process looks like. And at the end of the day, you have to make some pretty hard decisions when you're an investor. And AI can help do research and surface facts and do tasks for you. But it's only useful if you can trust and rely on the answers. And I learned that the hard way by getting a lot of smart sounding, but ultimately wrong information out of off-the-shelf AI tools. So I decided to build my own. I think a lot of our listeners are familiar with AI. In fact, I can't find too many people that aren't using it somewhere on their phone, in their private life, ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity. People are using it to just try to get information and get shortcuts, get things done for them. The fact is, most people, when they start trying to use it for real work, for things that are important to them, quickly find out that the information that they need is wrapped in a beautiful bow and sounds smart and great, but they don't know where it came from. And if they actually cross-check it, they sometimes find that it's wrong or misleading in dangerous ways. And so what people need to understand is it's not the AI's fault. AI is an amazing tool. It's predictive. It has tremendous processing capability. And so when we harness its power, we can save ourselves a lot of time and get a lot of productivity advantages. But what we have to know about it is it has a very, very small mouth. It can only eat and absorb little bits of information at a time. It's called the context window. And ultimately, the amount of information that we want it to look at is vast, but the amount that it can actually absorb is small. And so what it does is it takes a sample of all the information that it has access to, and it comes up with its best guess of what the answer is. So the trick, ultimately, that we have spent a lot of time perfecting is mapping the most reliable, most important, most relevant sources to each prompt that gets used in the AI workflow. And that simple step, building a big complex database to organize the sources and map the most relevant sources to each question, is how you get better answers. And that's really what the trick is in large part. And that can be true with calculations like math and stuff done on spreadsheets. It can be true of source material, whether it's scientific material, financial statement information, research reports. It can be true about anything, but the world of information is gigantic. It's vast. AI is super powerful, but it has to do it small chunks at a time. It's got a big, big stomach, but a very small mouth. And so we have to feed it in the smart ways. I personally had the privilege and good luck of leading deals for some great companies over the course of the last, quarter century, really. Apple, Microsoft, Taiwan Semiconductor, and hundreds of other companies that I personally led deals for. And then recently, I've done some interesting work projects on, half a dozen companies that were on last year's CNBC disruptors list. Companies like Perplexity or Saronic, Kalshi, Socure, maybe a little less famous than Microsoft, Apple, but absolute winners in their space and recognized by the CNBC disruptors list as such. As I mentioned, I've also had the great chance to work right up close with a lot of fantastic people, colleagues and folks at Goldman Sachs, where I worked for a couple of decades, at the Harvard Endowment, both our core team of investors, but even more importantly, the managers that we funded and that we partnered with. These are some of the greatest investors in the world. And what they're really amazing at is they have incredible judgment. They are creative people. They can see and sense opportunity. They can develop perspective or see things that others miss. So they're creative, they generate ideas, and they can ultimately draw fantastically sharp conclusions. Now, we all make mistakes, and even the greatest investor in the world makes mistakes. Normally, the mistakes they make are caused by oversight. They appreciate something that's presented to them, or they simply have the wrong information. There can be the oldest question, the oldest problem really in the game of investing or decision making is sometimes called garbage in, garbage out. Doesn't matter how smart you are. If you got the wrong inputs, you're going to make the wrong conclusions, regardless of your process and your rigor. And AI can exacerbate that old garbage in, garbage out problem in really deceptive ways. It's 100 times faster, 1,000 times faster than any human being. So you can pull in a lot more garbage if you're not careful. And it's deceptively convincing in that it is articulate. It can make pretty formats and it can give you wrong answers that look beautiful and sound smart. And so what we have to do to sort of get the most out of the power of AI, because it can literally parse through 10 million pages of stuff and present summaries to a smart investor in ways that he or she couldn't do on their own. But it can present them in deceptively inaccurate ways. And so we've got to get to the heart of that problem in order to get the most out of smart people with creativity and judgment and insight and powerful AI, which can do tasks and can do research and can bring information forward. I've always thought, watching the greatest investors in the world up close, that the real goal is just to connect all the important and relevant pieces of information in their brain, in that one person's brain. And that's why we call our approach AI plus one. The AI is powerful. It can do lots of tasks, and we build lots of workflows to do them. But we want to have one person that is directing, supervising, controlling, and ultimately bringing judgment as to what the information means and what they should do with it. So AI plus one is our mantra because it takes one smart person, and that smart person can be leveraged 100x. And that's the really exciting thing about where we are today. The challenge that everyone faces when they come into to work every day as an investor or as a decision maker is, what should they focus on? Where should they spend their time? What information is most important for the decisions that they have to do? And the first step is actually deciding what to focus on. And AI can be an enormous enabler for that, because instead of you having to spend a lot of time doing quick rubrics and summaries and scorecards, you can now purposefully design agents and formats to screen and sort and filter through the many, many possibilities that you have to spend your time on today, and identify the one or two that are most fruitful, because they either are going to make you a lot of money through tremendous upside potential, or they're very obvious, they're very straightforward, and it's going to take you almost no difficulty to get the information you need to make a high confidence decision, or both. If you have something that seems both straightforward to do, obvious and quick, and also super high value with low level of risk, those are the things you should focus on. And I think a lot of people have spent really way too much time over the course of their whole lifetime spending energy in the wrong places, focusing on the wrong things. And so AI, if it's purposefully built, can help you with that initial step, probably better than anything that I've seen. And a lot of what we see people getting value from is that first step. One thing that we know is big decisions, multi-million, multi-billion dollar decisions that investment funds make, and that companies make when they spend CapEx and build a business over the course of years. Those very big decisions are sometimes complex, and they sometimes need iteration, and information comes in over time. You don't get it all on one day. You get a little bit today, a little bit more next week, some more next month. And the process of iterating and collaborating, often with a team, and learning new and important information over time from the company, the customers, the competitors, the suppliers, putting it all into a framework with stories and numbers. Tackling that problem is a challenge of iterating and working on tough, complex problems over time. So the AI has to be flexible, it has to be configurable and tailorable for each and every unique situation, and it has to be something you can iterate with. You can get a fast answer out of any ChatGPT prompt, but if you want to go deeper, and if you want to have nuance, and if you want to take in new information tomorrow and next week, and if you want to do calculations around it, you're going to need a powerful, purpose-built tool that is designed for quality control, source prioritization, accuracy, avoid the garbage in, garbage out problem, but also something that you can iterate with either by yourself or with a team. And that's essentially what we think is the next big chapter here, is custom, configurable, customizable, controllable AI that you can iterate on and collaborate on among teams. Most companies are led by people who are visionaries and who have a great story to tell. And they bring you their story in a variety of ways. Sometimes in the world of venture capital and private equity, it's in a pitch deck that the company prepares, or a confidential investment memo that the private equity fund reviews. And the story is laid out, and it always sounds really exciting, glorious, actually. It's going to solve lots of problems. It's going to lead to tremendous growth and eventual profitability and great scale. And the people involved are often brilliant and accomplished in the past. And the opportunity often seems almost too good to be true, tantalizingly amazing. The first thing that you have to do is really get to the root of what is the edge? What does this company do? How do they deliver it in a way that gives them a competitive moat and a sustainable competitive advantage that will endure for many, many years? Why many years? Because when you're buying stocks in the public market, or if you're investing in private companies in the venture capital market today, you're typically paying for decades of growth and profitability. You're paying 20 times revenue. Even if you're paying 10 times revenue, you're paying for well more than a decade of growth and profitability. Today, in the world of AI, many companies are growing at rates that have never been seen before. You have lots of companies that are growing their revenues by 100% a year, but they are also being valued, or valuations are at sometimes 50 times revenue, or even 100 times revenue in some cases. Astonishing numbers. So when you're faced with this challenge of breathtaking technology that's clearly changing the world, an amazing team that's doing incredible things and has a solution that can scale to hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue faster than things that we've seen before, you have to ask yourself the hard questions. What is it that they're doing that's better than others? Is it going to last? And are they going to really delight their customers for years and decades to come in a way that they can capture profitability, growth, and margin? And so we have developed tools that don't try to do everything, right? The great thing about domain expertise is if you really focus on one thing, you can become tremendously good at it. That's why most professional athletes only play one sport. That's why most people can really only work at one job at a time, because you have to really focus to be great. And so when you look at off-the-shelf AI tools, as powerful as they are, they're trying to do lots of things for lots of people. They're trying to give a restaurant recommendation in Montenegro. They're trying to help you with a healthcare solution for a prostate problem for a patient. They're trying to analyze a stock, and they're trying to help you build a boat at home if you want to self create. That's too much. We're just focused on one thing, which is this investment process and this strategic scenario modeling that you want to do to help yourself really stress test every assumption that matters, consider the upside and the risk, and make a confident decision. Sounds simple, but it's really hard. And it's especially hard when there's either not enough information, you can't get your hands on the right stuff, or ironically, when there's too much information and you're just swimming in numbers and words and 10 million pages of stuff that you can't possibly read and absorb. So AI can help, but we have to make sure that the information you're getting and relying on is accurate and trustworthy and relevant. And so that's what our solution is really built to do. We only focus on a comprehensive workflow from the initial work through every stage gate and down to the final investment decision criteria. And we do it with careful prioritization of sources, making sure that we're mapping each source to the questions and only showing information that's trustworthy and validated. We have source of truth controls and source controls that the user can affect. We pick the best models to use. And then when it comes to numbers, which are really important in investing, understanding the growth, understanding the profitability, understanding the valuation, these are numbers-oriented things. The right answers for most investors come off of spreadsheets. And so we allow a trusted spreadsheet to be the calculation engine. And then we make visualizations, charts, tables, things that you can easily see at a glance. And that combination of trusted sources, trusted numbers, and powerful visualizations that you control is really how most investors make better decisions. It is ultimately up to the human to have creativity and judgment and be the one in our AI plus one formula that helps. But we are offering really two things. We're offering a software platform that teams and individuals can use. It'll save them 80% of their time, so they can produce higher quality, decision grade materials in 80% less time consistently. They can also quality control it with all the source controls, all the calculation controls, and all the transparency and footnoting that we talked about. And then they can make smart decisions by iterating as much as they want, by introducing new information, by saving versions, by collaborating with teammates. And so you have one core framework, one platform that works very well, saves you 80% of your time, gives you higher quality output, and that frees you up as the smart person to spend time thinking, debating, visiting with companies, talking to customers and competitors, and really understanding and thinking about things instead of just processing them and pulling them together. So our core software platform is a time saver, a productivity enhancer, and a very quality controlled way to use AI to help smart people make better decisions. At the same time, we offer a services component. We will do templates. We'll create templates for you to do the kinds of things that you know you want to do, but you don't have time to because you're not going to become an AI expert. Build all the routines, and we'll build a template for you. We'll do it typically in a day or two. We'll also do a fast draft for some funds. If they have too many deals to work on, they can have us do a draft, and literally in 24 hours, they can get a draft back because we are expert users of these tools, and we can mimic the format that the fund or the client wants, and we can get it back to them typically in a day or two at most. And that kind of service offering where we do template building and fast drafts delivered to these firms has been very, very powerful because they want to do what they want to do best. They want to talk to companies, they want to make decisions, they want the information framed, and then they want to move on with sourcing new next opportunities and working with their existing portfolio companies well. So we take care of a lot of the middle work, which is framing and producing the memos, models, and slide decks that help them see clearly the decisions that they have at hand. So we offer the platform, which all of our clients use and have access to. They can buy seats. They can have the whole team enabled as viewers or editors, and the platform has incredible tools and templates and capabilities and quality control features so that everything they do in the world of AI gets filtered through a platform that's purpose-built for strategic decision making and strategic research and analysis. On top of that, we have these deliverables, which are the fast drafts and the template builds. And then we do have an advisory services component, which we offer to both funds, where we often serve as the challenge team. They have their own internal deal team. Their deal team is fantastic, brilliant, and very, very focused on every detail of the company. But there can be a benefit to having a second opinion, just like you might with a medical doctor. If they say you may need some surgery, you might ask a second doctor whether she agrees that you need the same surgery or would do it in the same way. And so we offer the challenge team service to these funds. It's really getting not just our platform, but our team's experience and judgment and brain power to frame and deliver a full, polished investment recommendation memo with scenarios and quantified cases and deep research that you can rely on and debate. And you can compare the challenge team work that Bullet Point Network delivers to your own deal team's work. And a lot of people find that valuable. Some refer to it as the red team. The red team is the challenge team in a lot of internal org structures. And so we are the red team or the challenge team for some funds. The final bit of advisory services that we offer is sometimes the portfolio companies of these funds need help. They need help not just with AI and scenario modeling. They need help with understanding the drivers of their business, how they can present themselves to counterparties that might invest in their company in the next fundraising round or might buy their company in an M&A exit. And so Bullet Point Network offers advisory services to companies where we help them build scenario models, dashboards, proof points, the kind of which that will be credible and impressive to investors and to M&A counterparties, and also help them tell their story in a way that is believable and resonates well for the purpose of fundraising or strategic transactions. So we mostly focus around the platform and the AI solution and the quality control that we built into that. But we offer deliverables for fast things in a day or two, and we offer advisory services, challenge team for funds, or advisory services for companies. If you want to find out more, go to bpnai.com. bpnai.com is our website. We would be happy to give you a demo of our platform, talk to you about our bespoke advisory services, and for many qualified funds and firms, we offer a free trial for them to use the platform with our services and training for a month for up to 4 people. So that's what we are about. We're about giving people long-term solutions that can improve their workflows, save them 80% time, give them higher quality, and enable them at the end to spend their time in ways that are most productive, thinking critically, making judgments, drawing better investment decisions.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.